My name is Ray Fearon. I am a wedding photographer that likes food and talking to people. And as I have a little bit of a downtime due to some circumstances in the world, I have been interviewing local people. So I had the luxury of being able to talk to one of my favorite restaurants, my mom's.
Who I am? My name is Teri Bailey. I think about that. And I am owner-operator of our little family business here, Mom's Gourmet Take and Bake. And we're in Newtown, Pennsylvania, not Newtown Square. And we've had this for we're into 5 years. July was the end of 4 years. So how far away from July are we? I don't know. I know. Half the time I'm like, really? We're that far out of the summer? So the concept is we the base is pizzas. We make them when you order them. We make them fresh. And you take them home and bake them. So you can bake them whenever you'd like, and it comes hot out of your oven, which is kind of nice. We try to keep things as fresh and close to the dirt as possible. We have a garden in the back that helps us during the summer and autumn, which we just put to bed yesterday. And we make soups. Strombolis are really popular. The sandwiches are great. I make the bread for the good sandwiches that are the most popular ones. But we also have Kaiser rolls and whole wheat pitas. So, yeah, making pesto right now. So that's us in a nutshell. I don't think I'd fit in a nutshell.
Would you say pizza is the most popular?
It was, and it still does really well. But the sandwiches and the soups and the salads are pretty getting around, you know. They're like I said, we try to keep them as fresh as we can, and we make the dressings, and we make we have different things to put on top of them. We have set salads, but you can put together your own.
Daisy, do you want to introduce yourself at all?
Hi, I'm Daisy. This is my mom. So that's why I'm here.
The family of family business, the family and the family business line.
Yeah.
Daisy makes our crusts for our pizzas.
I make all the pizza crusts. So.
Well,
Except for the whole wheat and the multigrain. I make all the plain.
it's not plain, it's traditional.
Is it hard owning a family business?
Oh, yeah. It is. I knew going in, and that was one of the things that I didn't think I'd ever do another restaurant again. I was really young the first time I did, and I swore I'd never do it again. It took 30 years for me to do it again. But this really is different than it's not a restaurant. But it still absorbs a lot of your time. So it's not like a regular restaurant where you have servers and people that come in and sit and eat. So it is a little easier as far as responsibility, but I'm still, I'm working 5 to 6 days a week, and we don't go anywhere. We don't go anywhere. And my son just had our first grandbaby. Well, he didn't have her. Megan, his wife, had her. And she's gorgeous, and I so wish I could spend more time with them, but I can't be gone. I can't be gone where I can't get here if something goes wrong. And I think I've kind of done that to myself as far as doing too much, what is that? Too much tailored stuff. I'm not irreplaceable, but I've made myself because I have customers that I love that come in and say, oh, what can you make me today? And at first I'll kind of go, what do you want? But then I'll say, oh, okay, I got this, and I can put something together. And so it gets to where people will call and say, they don't do it as much anymore though.
No.
Is your mom there? Is she not there? And they'll say, oh, I'll call back when she's there. And I don't want that to happen because these girls are very, very capable. They're good. And so that kind of, it's nice, but it also kind of shoots myself in the foot. There's the other side of it where it's very satisfying it's a creative outlet that I wouldn't have. And except for my family, which is fine, but it's very satisfying to have, people come and say, hey, this person said this was great here, so I need to be here and try it.
Do you feel like there's a lot of word of mouth?
Yeah, we haven't done any advertising. So even though this place has been in this town for like 25 years, but it's different from what it was when it was Mom's. So there is a difference, but, and we do more things, but it's always been very established. It was kind of like ours to make or break, because it was at a low ebb when we took over. It had just moved down here and it was trying to recover from that because it was in the center of town. But yeah.
So what are your favorite things to make?
I like making soup. I never thought I'd get to where I didn't have any ideas for soup. So kind of nice. I have a couple customers that are staunch vegans, so they help me with the vegan soups. Just a little idea, and then I can run with that. But sometimes I get worried that I'm making the same thing over and over again, and that people will get bored. Like, I really shouldn't think that way, I suppose. That kind of kills me too. People do like the same thing.
How did you learn to make all of this food?
Oh, I worked with some pretty amazing people in my past lives down in Los Angeles. And for Chef Louis Girard, he was really great. And went to Japan, really good for plating, for presentation. When I came back, I had a little small Japanese restaurant up in Oregon. And then, where else did I work in? Oh, I worked in a great restaurant in Oregon, up on the mountain, up on the base of Mount Hood. They were amazing. They could have been put in any city and held their own. It was the Rendezvous Bar and Grill in Welch's, Oregon. And that chef, Catherine Bliss, she was amazing. And Lisa, her friend who did all the baking, and oh God, these two women were just incredible. And I learned a lot from them. And they let me do what I want. So it was nice. I was really amazed that these two women who were so accomplished let me kind of have my own way. So it was nice confidence builder. And then when my husband and I moved, we moved back to California, and I had Daisy and I had my son, and I know it's kind of all out of order, isn't it? And I didn't work for a while, and then it was really nice that I was able to stay home with my kids, and we gave up a lot, but they didn't know it, and we really didn't miss anything. So, and then when I started doing catering out of the house, for friends and family, friends that were getting married, friends that had businesses that did Christmas parties and things like that. And we were really looking for a commercial kitchen to be legal and do it right. And my daughter started working here because her other friends worked here. And the woman who owned the place was kind of half-heartedly looking for someone to take over. But it is a specialty kind of thing. You really want someone to take it over, not to change it and make it something else. And at first I was like, I don't do pizza. Why would I want to do that? And but coming in and realizing that I could keep that whole premise, which is a great thing. They don't really have it on the East Coast. It's on the West Coast mostly, the take and bake concept. But still add to it and, you know, maybe bring it up a little. So we just came in, took it over, just walked right into it and kept on going. And there's a few things we did. We didn't change any of the great stuff. We started making our own crusts, and that was a little bit rocky to start. But we got that smoothed out, but everything else is we added the soups, we added the garden in the back, and what else do we add? Catering. We do lasagnas. I'm trying to make it more that it's catering where I make it, but people come and pick it up and take it and deal with it. It's just hard because if I made it, I know how I want it cooked, I know how I want it presented, and I have to trust people to take care of it. Is that really awful to say that? But it's like, I'm afraid they're not going to do it right, and it's not going to come out right. So if I take it and do it, then if I have to fix something, I can fix it.
Yeah.
Because I always bring extra things whenever I cater something so that I can fix anything or make something extra or whatever. And so it's really hard to just let something go. But the lasagnas have been great because I make them into like 2 to 3 people size and single serving. I know. Single serving or the half pan, what's called a half pan, but it's more like a full pan. So like 15 people size. And people can pick it up, but at first that was hard too because I had to tell them how hot to cook it. What am I thinking? I just turn the oven at 350 and how long? Well, when you smell it, that doesn't work. So I had to like really make sure that I knew what to tell them. So it kind of surprised me that a lot of people don't just know these things. I know, it really made me have to think, like, this isn't what people do. They have other jobs, they have other things that they put their time in, but this is what I put my time in. So I had to learn how to get that across to people, you know, tell them how to do it. So they've been going well. I have a couple different people who, it's not on the menu and I don't advertise it, but I'll get somebody who will say, hey, I had a lasagna at this person's house and they said you make them. So I just need a day's notice and I can make them. I make them in the mornings when I come in. And scones, we have people who order scones and fruit pie, not the fruit, more like tarts. I can't make a real pie in this oven, but because it's too short and it's too hot. But I can make a tart, which is great because they're more shallow and they don't need that long cooking time. So this is roasting the pumpkin. You want me to do it? Okay. Nice. And there's a good juice in there. It'll be a good base. Soups like this, I don't have to add anything to it really to give it body. All the vegetables that are in it give it such a nice body, and the roasted gives it a good depth. And
one thing that I do notice from your, restaurant is how fresh the food tastes.
Oh, I'm glad.
Like even the little pesto sample that I dropped on the floor. Hey, but like, everything tastes very fresh, and like healthy. I don't know if healthy is the right way to phrase it.
Well, anytime you have something that hasn't gone through too many hands, or too much process to have it, like that's processed, but not processed. So, as close to what you can, I guess they say as close to the dirt as possible, even though that doesn't sound real appetizing.
I mean, because you tell more about the garden.
Oh, yeah, we grow all the herbs, and that I did have to buy this basil because it was like the last. But we grow all the herbs, and I have some rosemary that I'll go get to put into this. And during the summer, we make it's not too hot anymore. We make gazpacho every day. So all the tomatoes and the peppers and the cucumbers all come from the garden. In February last year, we were able to do the wintered carrots and make that into a carrot ginger soup that was really good. And then, but the gazpacho, I don't use any jars or cans like for the juice base. I just grind tomatoes. I do the basic base that you do for any soup: tomatoes, onion, celery, carrots. Roast those, and then grind them up with fresh tomatoes, and that makes my kind of V8 juice that I use for the base, for the soup part, and then the rest is all the vegetables. Sometimes I use like a watermelon puree to help fill out the soup and thin it out a little bit. Adds a little sweetness, and then add the chunked vegetables. And a little bit of fresh avocado on the top afterwards. It's really good. It goes fast. People buy it by the quarts, and it's all out of the garden. So I love that. I mean, I couldn't ever make the pizza sauce our basic pizza sauce out of tomatoes from the garden. It would be great, but it wouldn't be consistent. And we really, really, really always need to be consistent. So the tomato sauce, you just have to use a really good tomato canned product. And because tomatoes from the grocery store, when you got into the winter and you're out of the fresh tomatoes from the grocery store don't taste the same. There's tastes like nothing. So we used to use a really good product for our tomato sauce and always keep it the same. But it's just canned ground tomatoes and it's not concentrate, it's more a thicker, meatier tomato with a little basil in it. And then we add all our herbs and spices and a little olive oil, and that's our tomato sauce. So that has to be. But if I can do anything else out of the garden, I love doing it out of the garden.
Well, I don't know a lot, but it seems like a lot of the food you guys make would be able to be
Oh yeah,
made at home.
Because I love good food, and when I wasn't working and we had the kids and they were at home, we didn't have a lot of extra money. We had our very tight food budget, but I still like to eat well, like I used to. So if you're geared for it, if you have to change over to that kind of cooking, there's a large expense. But if this is the way you're used to, and you do this, it can be very inexpensive, even less expensive than processed stuff. But we're so geared to the processed stuff that changing over isn't easy and it's not cheap. So
buy all the things to have in your pantry to be ready to use, like all the spices and sauces
Yeah.
and stuff to do it yourself.
yeah. So, but I think we talked about that before. I want people to learn how to use fresh food as fast food. It's not difficult. It's not as time consuming as you think. If you do just a little bit of prep work, when you shop.
Stuff where you still you also bake a lot of new stuff or experiment all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. And so.
I like that.
So I'm not sure what I would. I think what were we thinking? These would make a good salad with some.
I feel like it would be. I don't know.
Yeah, with maybe a little feta cheese and yeah, that would be good. But then maybe a little red onion and arugula and something sweet. Currants? I don't know. Something sweet. Blueberries. Blueberries would be good.
So do you have any big fall stuff you usually make?
Well, the pumpkin soup I'm making this week. This will go today, tomorrow, probably Thursday. I'll have to make. They want the Guinness beef stew, so that comes out really good.
What is
It is basically a beef stew, nice and thick, and it's really rich. But it has Guinness in it, so it has that wonderful stout kind of, rich, dark beer. Not overpowering, but it's there.
If someone has not been here, or even if they've only had it a few times, what would you recommend someone come in and try?
If it depends on what they're looking for. If they're looking for something to take home and cook at home, the pizza. I mean, the strombolis are great. Like I said, they're a favorite. They're really easy to use for last minute holiday parties. You cut them up really thin and use them for appetizers. But the pizzas, you can put together any combination you want. And if you're not sure, we have ones on the menu that are kind of set up, but we also do, I have a friend who loves chorizo, roasted peppers, and tomato and then afterwards we put fresh avocado on top. And we cut it up into little squares. She uses that for appetizers for Christmas parties and things. We do a lot of spinach pizzas. They're great to have to go home, cook them in your oven, your house smells great, and you just bring it out. It only takes 8 to 12 minutes. It's a nice hot oven. But if they're looking for lunch and a sandwich kind of thing, we've been making our own bread for that, so you're gonna have to try that today. I don't think you've had it. And the most popular are the tuna melt and the turkey BLT that you like. And the vegetable one. And we have a young woman that loves the vegetable one that's on the menu, but she goes over off of the salad topping stuff and says, okay, I don't want this, but I want the fresh beets, and I want, something, the shredded Brussels sprout on my sandwich instead of the mushrooms and this. I love it when people do that. I love it when they have ideas with what they want. I don't mind coming up with, sometimes I need to be primed a little bit. Because off the top of my head, sometimes I'm not there and I'm making something else. But I love it when they have their own ideas about what they'd like. I have no problem with that at all.
Do you have a send-off message?
Everybody stay safe, care about your neighbor, and I hate to see the fear of this whole thing. We shouldn't be so fearful. Just be careful and care about your neighbor, but be smart. We don't have to be crazed to be careful. Wash your hands. It's the best thing you could ever do. If you're going to be in a tight, close situation and you have people at home that you're worried about, wear a mask. If you're outside and you're 6 feet away, enjoy the sun. The sun is the best thing you can do for any of those things. And vitamin D, and vitamin C. Eat well. Eat well. Eat well. Your body knows what to do. Just give it the fuel.
Oh yeah.